So now we move on to item 7. So we talk about item 1. We talk about item 1A. Now we move on to item 7. So what is item 7 about? Item 7 is about the company. They talk about operations and the financial results and any material changes and a lot of comments on that. So what's the difference between item 7 and the earlier comments? Earlier item 1, item 1A. Item 7 is the place managers want to talk about anything they want to talk about. So it's kind of a section they can feel free to disclose anything. And most of the time, the regulators encourage the managers to disclose forward-looking information in item 7. So think about it. If manager talk about the past performance, there's a liability, right? If they say something wrong, they get sued. But if the company talk about the forward-looking information, saying, I'm going to make the sales double, this kind of stuff are protected by the safe harbor rule. Means in order to encourage managers to talk about the future, we kind of waive their liability. If the number is not true, if the number is not, it's not realized, we still waive their accountability and liability. So that's where manager can talk about forward-looking information in item 7. So you guys get the idea, right? So basically, if you talk about the past, you can't lie. How much you earn, you have to tell the people. But if you want to talk about future, you can say some numbers without any legal issues. And we call that safe harbor rule. And where you talk about that in item 7. So in item 7, you talk about, how promising the firms, blah, blah, blah. You can talk about all good things, but you cannot keep doing cheap talk, right? If you keep doing cheap talk, people will not believe you, right? So there's always trade-off for doing that. So you can see that in item 7, what people do is, okay, I give you the overview, I give you the financial summary, I give you the margin, blah, blah. But most important one is forward-looking information. Something they will face legal trouble, but they can disclose here about forward-looking predictions. And also you can see that they also can tell what strategical decisions, directions, and also talk about the progress of the companies, franchising, cost saving, and financial performance. They can talk about a lot of contents and the outlook. So this is a part I'm talking about. So they can talk about outlook, right? They can say whatever they want to say. They say outlook is very bad. Normally they don't say that, right? They say outlook is pretty good. Maybe they can explain if the current performance is bad. They can say while the current performance is bad, I think outlook is great, right? They can say they can sell the future. So they can divide the outlook into the long-term ones. The long-term ones is even more flexible, right? It's even less subject to liability and the compliance, right? So these are the places they're actually talking about futures. And also talk about, you can see trend in our business, our behavior, blah, blah, blah. So you can see a lot of examples and also summarize information about segment data. So this is also, they are not just talking about the aggregated performance. So Amazon has different segments, right? Amazon has the, online retail. Amazon also has the AWS doing the cloud computing, right? So where you can see the Amazon's cloud computing each revenue from each segment. So you can find this from these components as well. So and goodwill, impairment. So you can find a lot of information from this item 7. So idea of item 7 is the manager talking about the performance. Sometimes it's about past, but more of the information is about the future. And managers can talk about outlook, and managers can talk about segment information, like not just aggregated earnings, right? Like each segment, how much money they are making from each segment, they can talk about that as well. So what's the use case here? So one use case is you can get a forward-looking information from item 7. That's very important because the many part of the annual 10K, it's all of a summary of past information. This component has the nature of get forward-looking information. Whether this is bluffing or cheap talk, you judge it, right? AI judge it. So at least this is a section you can get forward-looking information, but you make sure it's not cheap talk. It's not just bluffing. You want to make sure that some of the forward-looking is substantial, right? So that's your job to do that. Using AI, you can verify that, right? So that's one thing. Another one is what other people were doing is like some of the scholars were doing is so what they're doing is they compare the current year's item 1 with previous item 1, and they look at the changes. So basically, if one company has item 7 every year is the same item 7, that means the company is what? The company does have no new information, right? If every year this item 7 is the same, that means these are lazy managers. Basically, every time the manager is saying, outlook is good this year, and next year say, outlook is good. And then another year, outlook is good. Every year is outlook is good. That's a lazy manager, right? Lazy manager. So what scholars do is they compare the time series change of the item 7 to see whether there's new information or not, right? So basically, if the last year say outlook is good, but this year they say outlook is not good, but sometimes blah blah blah, they have some contents different from previous year. That new contents, we think this is proxy whether it's a lazy manager or not lazy manager, and whether how many information we have. So that's one stuff you guys can do, right? So another thing is look at investor's point. So people examining, so if there's a new sentence in this year's item 7, but it was not in previous item 7, do people get it? So on average, not. Interesting, right? Interesting. So basically, when managers talk about new things in item 7, which they didn't talk about last year, and we found people just don't get it. People just don't get it because that one sentence buried in the full length of the item 7. People just don't know which are one new sentence, which are new old sentence. Item 7 is so long, like 1,000 sentences. Sometimes you just forgot, you just didn't get which one is new. So AI can easily pick it up for you, right? Pick up for you. So right now, what we found is if there's one sentence buried in the new in item 7, and which was not stated in the previous one, the investors just don't get it. But AI can help with that. AI can easily identify what's the new sentence and then help the market efficient to price the 10K, right? These are the use case of these. So